A chimpanzee can understand food. It can understand tools. It may even prefer cooked food if given the chance. But wild chimpanzees do not maintain fires, gather ingredients, control heat, and build culture around cooked meals. Humans did. Why? Because cooking requires more than intelligence. A lion does not season its kill. A shark does not boil fish. A chimpanzee does not roast fruit over a fire before eating it. For almost every animal on Earth, food is something you find, tear, swallow, and survive on. It is raw. It is cold. It is exactly what nature gives. Then there is us. Before humans eat, we do something almost no other creature does. We transform the food first, we burn it, boil it, smoke it, bake it, fry it, ferment it, salt it, dry it, crush it, grind it, mix it with other foods, heat it again, and then sit around pretending this is normal. In the animal kingdom, cooking is bizarre. A wolf kills and eats. An eagle catches and eats. A gorilla spends most of the day chewing plants exactly as they grow. But humans looked at nature's food and decided it was unfinished. We are not just the animal that eats. We are the animal that edits its food before eating it. And that tiny difference may be one of the reasons we became human at all. Because somewhere deep in prehistory, before cities, before farming, before metal, before writing, before kings, one ancient human discovered that fire did not only keep the darkness away, fire changed meat. Fire softened roots. Fire made food warmer, safer, easier, richer. And once humans learned that heat could transform food, we began transforming ourselves. Before fire, humans were not yet fully human. To understand why cooking matters, you have to imagine humans before the kitchen, not modern humans with plates and recipes. Ancient human ancestors, smaller brains, heavier jaws, bigger teeth, stronger chewing muscles, a body still much closer to the raw world. For them, eating was not quick. Eating was labor. Raw plants are difficult to break down. Tough roots fight the teeth. Raw meat takes effort to chew. Seeds, tubers, fibers, and animal tissue all contain energy, but getting that energy out is expensive. A modern human can eat a cooked meal in minutes, but many primates spend hours and hours every day chewing. That is the hidden cost of raw food. It takes time. It takes muscle. It takes a digestive system powerful enough to break down what the teeth could not. So early humans faced a problem. Brains are expensive. Movement is expensive. Survival is expensive. And raw food does not give up its energy easily. Then fire entered the story. At first, it may not have looked like a revolution. Maybe lightning struck dry grass. Maybe a carcass burned at the edge of a wildfire. Maybe a piece of meat fell into flames. Maybe a root left near embers became soft. Nobody knows the exact first moment. But at some point, one of our ancestors tasted food changed by heat. And after that, the old world could not return. The simplest way to understand cooking is this. Cooking does part of digestion before the food enters your mouth. Heat breaks down fibers, it softens tough tissue, it changes starches, it makes proteins easier to chew and process. It kills many parasites and dangerous microbes. It unlocks calories that would otherwise be harder for the body to access. That means cooked food is not just warm or raw food. It is biologically different. It gives the body more usable energy for less work. And energy is everything in evolution. A creature with more available energy can grow differently, move differently, think differently, reproduce differently, survive differently. Because the human brain is one of the most expensive organs in nature. It is not large by accident. It demands constant fuel. Even when you're doing nothing, your brain is burning energy, maintaining memory, predicting danger, reading faces, imagining futures, telling itself stories. A bigger brain needs a better energy supply, and cooking may have helped provide it. Fire did not just help humans eat. Fire may have helped humans think. Once cooked food became part of human life, the body no longer had to be built the same way. If food is softer, teeth can shrink. If chewing becomes easier, jaws can become smaller. If digestion becomes less demanding, the gut can change. If the body spends less effort breaking down raw food, more energy can be used elsewhere, like the brain. This may help explain one of the strangest things about us. Compared with other great apes, humans have relatively small teeth, weaker jaws, and a digestive system that does not look built for endless raw feeding. A gorilla can survive on huge amounts of raw plant material because its body is designed for that job. Humans are not. A person trying to live entirely on raw wild foods would face a serious challenge, especially without modern agriculture, blenders, refrigerators, imported fruit, and careful planning. Humans did not simply learn to cook. We became the kind of animal that needed cooked food. Fire moved from being a tool outside the body to becoming part of the human survival system, not literally inside us, but biologically around us. Our bodies evolved as if cooked food would be there. It means the campfire became almost like an external organ, a second stomach made of heat and flame. Now, some animals are clever. Chimpanzees use sticks to fish for termites. Crows bend wires into hooks. Sea otters smash shells with stones. Octopuses solve puzzles. Dolphins cooperate in complex ways. So intelligence alone is not the full explanation. The animal world is full of problems problem solvers, but almost none of them cross the line humans crossed. They may use tools to get food, but they do not regularly transform food with fire before eating it. Cooking requires more than intelligence. It requires patience, memory, control of fire, social learning, trust planning. You have to wait for food. You have to protect the fire. You have to learn what burns, what softens, what poisons, what becomes edible. You have to pass that knowledge on. Cooking is not just a behavior. It is a tradition. And tradition is where humans become dangerous. Before controlled fire, night belonged mostly to the dark, to predators, to cold, to sleep, to fear, but fire changed night. Suddenly, humans had light after sunset, warmth, protection, a center. And around that center, something new could happen. People gathered. Food cooked slowly. Children watched adults. Adults shared meat. Old people told what they remembered. Hunters described where the animals had gone. Someone explained which plant to avoid. Someone repeated a story from a dead relative. Someone laughed. Someone warned. Someone taught. That may sound ordinary now, but it was revolutionary because most animals eat and move on. Humans ate and stayed. The meal became social, the fire created time, and time created conversation. The campfire may have helped turn humans into the storytelling animal, not because fire magically created language, but because it gave language a place to grow. A circle, a light, a reason to stay awake together. That is where food becomes culture. Raw food can be eaten alone, but cooked food often pulls people together. A carcass brought back to camp. Roots roasted in ash, meat divided near fire, children fed first, elders given soft portions, hunters rewarded, mates chosen, alliances strengthened, debt created, cooking made food more shareable, and sharing made humans more social. That matters because humans are not strong enough to dominate the world alone. One human is fragile. A group of humans is terrifying. A group that shares food, protects children, teaches skills, and remembers favors becomes something no animal can easily match. So cooking may have done two things at once. It fed the brain biologically, and it fed the group socially. More calories for the skull, more connection around the fire. That combination may be one of the engines of human evolution. But there is a darker side. Cooking did not only make humans healthier and smarter, it also changed our relationship with nature before cooking. Humans had to fit more directly into the raw world. After fire, we could begin forcing the world to fit us. Cold environment, use fire, dangerous food, cook it, tough meat, soften it, hard roots, roast them, nightlight it, forest, burn it, landscape, clear it. This is the beginning of a pattern that never stopped. Once humans learned that heat could transform food, we began applying the same logic everywhere. Stone could be shaped, clay could be fired, metal could be smelted, forests could be cleared, fields could be planted, cities could be built, fuel could be burned, atoms could be split, computers could be powered. The first cook fire and the modern power plant are separated by hundreds of thousands of years. But they come from the same human instinct. Nature gives us something. We change it. That is what humans do. Cooking may be the first great symbol of that obsession. The strangest way to think about cooking is this. It was one of humanity's first upgrades. Not a genetic edit, not a machine implant, not a pill, but an external technology that changed what our bodies could become. Before cooking, energy was locked inside raw food. After cooking, more of that energy became available. Before cooking, chewing, and digestion consumed more of the day. After cooking, time could be spent on tools, travel, language, and teaching. Before cooking, the body had to do more work internally. After cooking, fire did some of the work outside the body. That is the pattern humans have followed ever since. We take a biological limit and move it into technology. Our legs are slow, so we build vehicles. Our memory is limited, so we write. Our voices do not travel far, so we build phones. Our bodies get cold, so we build houses. Our food is hard to digest, so we cook it. Human civilization is basically the long history of moving survival outside the body, and cooking may have been one of the first steps. So why did no other animal become the cooking animal? Because the path is narrow. You need access to fire. You need hands or some way to manipulate objects. You need a social group that can learn and copy. You need enough patience to delay eating. You need an environment where cooked food gives a major advantage. And then, most importantly, you need the behavior to become culture. A single animal accidentally eating burned food is not enough. A group has to repeat it. Children have to learn it. The habit has to survive the deaths of individuals. That is what humans are uniquely good at. We do not merely discover, we preserve discovery. One generation finds something useful. The next generation does not have to start over. That is how a spark becomes a tradition. That is how a tradition becomes biology. That is how biology becomes destiny. Every time you cook, you're doing something ancient, older than farming, older than writing, older than religion, older than nations, older than almost everything we call history. A pan on a stove is not just a modern convenience, it is an echo of the first fires. When you boil rice, roast meat, bake bread, fry eggs, smoke fish, or heat soup, you're participating in one of the oldest human rituals ever created, and it taught humans the most important lesson our species ever learned. The world does not have to stay as nature gives it. It can be transformed. That is what makes cooking more than eating. A lion eats to remain a lion. A chimpanzee eats to remain a chimpanzee. But when humans eat, we often transform the food first, and in doing so, we remind ourselves of the ancient moment when fire transformed us. Because cooking did not simply help humans survive. It helped create the kind of creature that could look at the raw world and say, "This is not finished yet," and then change it.